Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to talk about a very dramatic and powerful development in the ongoing conflict that has grabbed the world's attention. The headline itself is intense and shocking: Crimea is wide open. Ukraine's 7,000 kg bombs smash Russia's 22nd Army. This isn't just another update from the battlefield, it is a story that carries weight, symbolism, and consequences that reach far beyond the front lines. In this video, I will break this down in a way that helps you understand not only what happened, but why it matters, what makes it unique, and what kind of impact it could leave in the larger picture. On the outside, this looks like a massive turning point. The exterior view of the story is all about scale and visibility. For years, Crimea has been presented as a stronghold, heavily defended and shielded by Russia's military presence. The impression has been that it's nearly untouchable, secured by layered defenses and advanced weaponry. But when you see reports of 7,000 kilogram bombs being deployed successfully against the Russian 22nd Army, that entire picture starts to crack. The boldness of such a strike creates an exterior that is loud, impossible to ignore, and it forces both sides, and the world, to reassess what is possible on this battlefield. It's not just an isolated attack, it's a signal. It projects power, it shows capability, and it sends a clear message that Crimea is no longer as closed off or as secure as Russia once claimed. Inside the details, things get more interesting. The interior of this story is simple but highly strategic. Ukraine has been building up its ability to strike deeper and harder into Russian-controlled territory, and this action highlights that evolution. The report makes it clear that these weren't just small-scale raids or hit-and-run tactics. This was a carefully planned and executed strike with extraordinary firepower. The details show how intelligence, timing, and precision were combined to create an impact that resonates across the battlefield. From the inside, it demonstrates Ukraine's growing confidence and ability to challenge Russia not just on the edges of the conflict, but at its very core assets in Crimea. The interior of this story doesn't drag on with unnecessary noise, it cuts straight to the point. This was decisive, powerful, and disruptive. When we shift to performance, this is where the story truly stands out. The deployment of a 7,000 kilogram bomb is not just about raw power, it is about proving effectiveness. Performance here is measured in results, and the results are striking. Reports suggest that the Russian 22nd Army, one of the significant forces positioned in Crimea, suffered serious damage. The performance impact is twofold. On one side, Ukraine demonstrated a capability to breach defenses that many thought were impenetrable, changing the perception of its reach and effectiveness. On the other side, the performance of Russia's defensive systems came under serious doubt. If a strike of this magnitude can succeed against what was considered one of Russia's strongest positions, then the reliability of those defenses across the board is in question. Performance is not only about destruction, it is about credibility. Ukraine's credibility in terms of capability went up, while Russia's credibility in terms of protection went down. Safety is always a key factor in any situation like this, but here, safety is highlighted through its absence. For Russia, the supposed safety of Crimea has been shattered. Defenses that were thought to be strong enough to protect high-value assets have been bypassed or proven inadequate. The psychological impact is huge because it tells Russian soldiers and commanders that even deep inside Crimea, they are not safe. For Ukraine, safety comes in the form of deterrence. By showing it can strike at this scale, Ukraine enhances its own security indirectly. The message is that continued aggression will come at a high cost, and the ability to hit critical targets is a shield in itself. It's not safety in the traditional sense of protection, but rather safety through power projection and deterrence. This balance of safety and vulnerability flips the dynamic in a way that reshapes the battlefield. Now, if we think about the unique selling points of this development, they are very clear. First, the scale of the strike itself is something unique. A 7,000 kilogram bomb is not something you hear about being used every day. That alone sets this apart from routine military operations. Second, the target matters. Hitting the Russian 22nd Army in Crimea is not a minor skirmish. It's an attack on a highly significant force in a highly symbolic location. Crimea has been at the heart of the conflict since 2014, and any strike that penetrates deep into it carries more than just tactical significance, it carries symbolic and political weight. Third, the uniqueness lies in the psychological ripple effects. This isn't just a military blow, it's a narrative shift. It tells the world that Crimea is no longer out of reach, and it forces Russia to rethink its posture. The unique selling point of this story is that it changes both perception and reality at the same time, something very few battlefield events manage to achieve. Of course, there is always a price attached to such actions. The cost here is measured in multiple dimensions. For Russia, the price is painfully clear. It pays in terms of credibility, in terms of morale, and in terms of military assets lost in the strike. It also pays in terms of political image because Crimea has long been showcased as a secure part of Russian territory, and now that image is damaged. For Ukraine, the price comes in resources and risks. Deploying such heavy and powerful ordnance requires significant preparation, intelligence, and coordination. There's also the political cost of escalation, because bold moves like this could invite stronger retaliation. But in the calculation of price, Ukraine appears to have judged that the gains outweigh the risks, and in the broader picture, the price paid seems justified by the impact achieved. As we draw everything together, the conclusion becomes clear. This event is not just another update on the conflict, it is a defining moment. The exterior shows a dramatic shift in how Crimea is viewed. The interior reveals a straightforward but highly effective strike. The performance demonstrates not only destruction but also a shift in credibility and capability. Safety is redefined, with Russia exposed and Ukraine securing deterrence. The unique selling point set this apart as a story that carries weight beyond the immediate battlefield, and the price, while heavy, has already reshaped the dynamics on both sides. Crimea is no longer untouchable, and that reality changes everything going forward. This story will continue to echo in the days and weeks ahead, as both sides adjust and respond. For now, it stands as a reminder that in war, perceptions can change overnight, and what once looked invulnerable can be shattered with a single, decisive strike. Thank you for staying with me through this review, and if you found this breakdown helpful, make sure to stay connected for more deep dives into global events that shape our world.